Leader of the third party.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. Just further to this line of questionings about these reports that were released that provided substantially more information than what has consistently been released to the public. The reports contain information that scientists, the press, members in this chamber, and the public have asked for months, and these requests have been ignored. Trust is a two-way street. The public must trust the decisions being made by the government and the advice being given to them, and the government must trust the public by providing them with the information on what is informing those decisions and why. By failing to keep the public fully informed, the government also fails to keep the public fully engaged. Information is a signal of trust by government, and substantial data can help promote safe behaviour, it can create community cohesion, and it can ensure that British Columbians adhere to the restrictions placed upon them by understanding why those restrictions are needed. My question, Honourable Speaker, is to the Minister of Health. Why has his ministry and this government chosen to keep the public under-informed when it comes to COVID-19?
Minister of Health.
Well, the member will know that the provincial health officer, myself, the deputy provincial health officer, the ministry, have prepared hundreds of briefings, I believe about 200 public briefings, regular monthly modeling efforts, which we were the first in Canada to institute that have kept people informed about the trajectory of the pandemic. Weekly surveillance reports with detailed information by local health areas for months. And in the process, the member talks about informing a broad group of people that advise the BC CDC and advise the Provincial Health Authority on the direction government should take and in the surveillance of the pandemic and the surveillance of the health of British Columbia. What this has meant is that we've made decisions with respect to immunization and respect to control of transmission of the virus that have focused on where people are most vulnerable. And you see this reflected in all of our immunization strategy from the beginning. I think our provincial health officials have done a very good job, and they will continue to provide, as they have through the pandemic, more and more information to the public as it becomes available to present. And that is what they are doing. I think that the provincial health officer is very committed to the idea of informing the public, and in fact has done so from the beginning of the pandemic through extraordinary efforts. And I support her in that and will continue to be available myself and accountable myself for the efforts we're making.
Leader of the third party and supplemental.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. And often the Minister prefaces his answers to these questions with "the member will know." But in fact, we are asking the questions because we don't know. The press has been asking questions because they don't know. Scientists and experts have been asking questions because they don't know the answers, because the data hasn't been provided. Vaccination rates, case numbers by community health service authorities has not been made public. This is data that has been requested by academics and scientists in BC to help promote safety and targeted measures. There have been long-standing calls for more transparency of data related to schools, workplaces, and related to long COVID. Without this data, it signals that government does not trust the public to make informed decisions. It is an example of the government's desire to control the narrative and the messaging on COVID-19 rather than completely empower the public in a health emergency. This government has a growing issue with transparency and a refusal to give up control of that narrative. The criticism that they are facing is a direct result of their refusal to admit uncertainty and change course when needed. My question again through you, Honourable Speaker, is to the Minister of Health. Will this government accept their fault in withholding information and commit to full transparency in the COVID-19 response moving forward?
Minister of Health.
Well, thank you very much, Honourable Speaker. And sorry, my screen just went off there. I'm back, I think. Thank you very much, Honourable Speaker, and thank you to the member for her question. I think what's essential in the COVID-19 pandemic is we do everything we can to limit transmission, that we support people when they become ill with COVID-19, which is a terrible, vicious virus, that we provide information to the public as we have, as the BC Centre for Disease Control does, every single day, updating its dashboard, and every single week with more detailed surveillance reports. And we have to continue to do all of those things while ensuring that people are vaccinated at a high rate as vaccines come to BC, and that we focus on the most vulnerable. Those are the things that we need to do together, and we need to do it together as an entire province. Dr. Henry, again, will speak today to issues of data, and we hope to provide and continue to provide as much data as possible to people, and we'll continue to do that. But I think what's important to focus on now is that everyone in British Columbia get registered, that when your time comes, book your vaccination. When your time comes, go and get vaccinated. And in the meantime as well, ensure that we follow provincial health measures and provincial health guidance. Those are the things we need to do right now at this critical moment in the pandemic. That's the message that's been delivered from the beginning by Dr. Henry, supported by a mountain of data. And we'll continue to provide more because the public is interested in that and needs that, and we will continue to provide.